Everybody, day 2 at PAX 2015. We're here, powered by Twitch as usual. I'm Eat My Diction, and here we have my good buddy Swifter.
What's up?
Shams, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this. Corlana? Carolina.
Yeah. Almost, man. Almost.
So close. And you guys are here to produce and present a new expansion to City Skyline, which came out earlier this year and just kind of blew everyone away. Scratched an itch that gamers have been needing to scratch for a long time. It was a huge hit, really fun. And tell us what you guys have here for us today.
We have a new expansion coming out just next month. It's called the After Dark, and it adds a new day and night cycle to the game.
Oh, wow.
And the day and night cycle will be a free update for all the players, so anyone who owns the game, they will immediately get it when it comes out.
That's great. Yeah, you guys have been really good about pushing out those DLC and expansions for free, and just really, it's a game about, building things and creating, and you've done a really good job of just making sure that you can just keep doing that as much as possible. And so what exactly happens with the day-night cycle? Does it change anything in the game world as far as the behavior of citizens and how everything works?
Yeah, actually, it does look visually really stunning, but we didn't want to make it only visual. We wanted it to actually have something that happens in the game. So what we did was we changed how the citizens' AI works. So the way they travel around the city differs during the night and day. So when it's the nighttime, they are less likely to actually leave the houses, which of course means that the players can then use this kind of quiet time to have the city services go around the city without the private vehicles actually blocking the roads. So it gives more control to the player of what they want to have happening and when, and just generally adding more kind of this tweaking and managing aspect.
That's great. So you're saying, like, if you wanted the garbage collectors to go out just at night so they're not blocking the roads and doing that kind of stuff, you can set that now.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
That's my favorite thing with the expansion.
That's like ultra micromanagement right there. That's great.
But we wanted it to be really accessible for the players, so it's really easy to use. You have a budget and you have a day and night slider on the budget screen. So if you just pull the sun icon low and the moon icon high, that's it.
Easy. Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, the game it's all about creating a sandbox, right? It's in the sandbox experience from start to finish. So when we set out to do the first expansion, we had this smorgasbord of different features we could have gone into. And always we try to listen to the community. What are they asking for? What do they want? But ultimately we said, day and night cycles also looks kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Especially like, fast forward it's just lighting, no lighting, lighting, no lighting. Yeah, that's pretty great. I mean, what does this change as far as I know the behaviors. We already talked about that, but like, does it mean new districts maybe, like nightclubs and bars and stuff, like a nightlife for certain citizens?
Yeah, that was the first thing we actually thought about.
Oh, really?
Of course, if you have a nighttime, you need to have nightclubs and casinos and all of this. So what we have on the paid side of the expansion is like, if the players only want to get into the nighttime and have more to play actually with the night, they will have leisure districts. So the commercial areas can specialize in leisure, which means that casinos will pop up and the nightclubs and all of these huge buildings that have neon signs and look especially cool during the night.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you make a game, you have to make a lot of trade-offs, right? And one of the areas where we felt that we could have maybe done a bit more was definitely in the crime area. Anyone that's played the game will see that crime isn't necessarily... It's kind of hard to make Gotham City because there's not enough drug dealers around.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So one of the things that you also can do with more nighttime, of course, is when you have all the families stay at home, but all the criminals come out.
Oh, there we go.
Right. So that the expansion also expands upon the criminal factors, and also on the other side you have law and order as well, so you've got that balance there.
Very cool. Let the criminals come out to play.
Yeah. Totally. And so do you have to, is that going to like mean that the jails are going to get cram packed if you got way too much crime at night and have to just keep making more and more jails?
Well, basically, you have to make sure that the capacity is enough for the criminals that are in the city, because otherwise, where would you actually put them? So
That's true.
So
You
it
could
is,
throw them in the river.
We didn't have prisons
There
in
you
the
go.
original game, right?
no, it's
Exactly.
completely new.
Oh, wow.
So prisons, you can reenact your own Orange is the New Black, essentially. Can you do all, can you do all female prisons?
Well, we should add that.
Oh, wow.
That would be awesome.
Or somebody will actually create that mod.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And
What,
sorry.
what cool
Go
things are you expecting players to kind of use, like, do in the nighttime now that it's getting available?
You know, that's one of the things. Like when we set out to make the game, we could have decided to we set aside a bit of the budget for modding specifically, right?
Right.
Because we could have just taken that money and created features, just had a smaller game. You know, we could have done like I don't know, always online stuff. That's very popular with city builders, I hear. But we chose to do modding, right? And one of the things with modding is that our expectations, I don't know if it was different over at the dev team, but at least at the Paradox offices, we're like, okay, so what kind of weird stuff will they create? Obviously, we see all the penis-shaped structures.
Of course,
That
no.
was something that we anticipated.
Right.
Right.
But one thing that was definitely constant when we actually launched the game and saw what people were doing mod-wise is that it blew our mind. In our wildest dreams, we couldn't have anticipated the weird stuff. Somebody created like Los Santos in less than like 24
I
hours.
saw
or
that,
something.
yeah.
And
That's awesome.
it looked really good. And so when the question is, so what kind of stuff do you anticipate for the mods? I have no idea. I don't know. What are your wildest dreams in city nightlife weirdness that could go on?
Man.
I mean, you already got me thinking about Batman. So I was
Exactly.
trying to. I mean, it's not something I could control, but it'd be really great if I could have a bunch of vigilantes going around,
Should
you know,
we do,
taking care of
should
crime.
we do a superhero expansion? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
How about fireworks? I'd love to see that.
Oh,
that'd be
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is that possible?
It should be, yeah.
cool. All right.
I think so.
Modders out there, let's make it happen.
Yes, please. Lots of flashing lights and explosions.
Yes.
So if you, is it possible to have like a whole city built around like the nightclub and the bar scenes and possibly
Yeah.
make that be an industry that
Make a Las
propels
Vegas,
it?
right?
Make a
Yeah,
Las Vegas,
yeah,
bunch of
that'd be
cool.
casinos
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
never stops being nighttime, maybe.
Yeah.
Midnight City. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and we have kind of all the way when we were developing the expansion, we only wanted to kind of keep things only open, just so the modders can pick them up, and we decided that we won't even plan like what they will do with this. We will leave it open enough so they will do their thing, and it's awesome.
There we go. A lot of flexibility there for modders. Kind
Yeah.
of get their hands dirty. So what's going on here right now? It's like developing like beachfront property.
Yeah, actually the other specialization that we have besides the leisure one is the beach one, because we noticed that the beach fronts were kind of they looked a bit unfinished in the base game. So
Right.
we wanted to give the players actually the option to kind of finish them nicely, so that the city kind of continues all the way to the water, and there's a nice transition, and then you can actually utilize those and attract a lot of tourists when you have these hotels and beach kind of activities. So not only does it look nice, it also works really nicely that you can actually finish off these shorelines and use up all the space.
I usually would just use those for the water treatment and sewage.
Yeah.
Are you one of those players that always feeds the sewage into the water, so you end up with like Poop City?
Oh,
Well,
Poop City.
I
Oh,
tried
man.
that. Yeah, I tried that once, and then I very quickly lost the game.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's not even a game where you can really lose, and I found a way to do it.
There we go. Challenge in itself.
I remember one of the launch events that we had for the game when we had a lot of US journalists and YouTubers, and then we had a lot of British YouTubers. All the British players created very quaint and nice looking cities, and all the American players just created hellscapes on Earth.
Oh, yeah.
And just fed the sewage back to the people. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's basically what we live in. I mean, you know, it's pretty authentic.
We're really big on apocalyptic, scenarios, and if we can create that with sewage and poo, that's fine with
That's
me.
like the pinnacle, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
It's the main ingredient for
That game of the year right there.
Yeah.
Great, great.
No, but I mean, another part of the thing that comes with the expansion is that we're doing a bevy of just fixes and updates and tweaks and stuff that is being added to the game for free. Everyone gets that, even if you're not interested in the expansion, and that's the kind of philosophy that we have. Like, we add paid content to the game, but we also add tons of free stuff. So even if you don't want to buy stuff, you get stuff for free. And that also includes fixes for stuff that people sometimes don't want fixed.
Right.
So I don't know if you've seen, but sometimes in our games we have big cruise ships. And in the original game, they kind of really sped towards land, and you kind of saw them like, they should be slowing down. And they just didn't, and they just like land sharks went up.
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
They just cruised up
Yeah,
land, and
right
then
through the
kind of
cities,
realized, oh, where am I doing? And the cruise ships just glided back. So that's something that's fixed. But we know for a fact that people will mod that back into the game.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The thing with modding is that you lose a big measure of control over your game. We can't control it anymore. So it's less of our game rather than the community's game, and they kind of just take it in weird ass directions. And we try to just play along.
let them do it.
There we go.
Let them loose.
Let them create the city they want to create the way they want it.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the thing, right? One of the beautiful parts about modding is that somewhere inside our game is not maybe a Dota or a DayZ, but there is a game within the game, and then there's a game within that game. And if we just give them enough tools and weird stuff to do, people will find the Dota or the DayZ in our game. So, and ultimately, like, how big is the team?
14 people.
14 people.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
We can't, they're brilliant developers, but we can't come up with the magical stuff once we put it out there. We have, in the Steam Workshop, we have over like 55,000 pieces of mods, and we have around 100,000 modders that are creating different things. And it's just like, we can't keep up with their imagination and the kind of weird stuff they do, right? So somebody added the Death Star to the game just the other day.
Really?
I don't know how that even works. It floats. So I think that people just drive up and park their cars and then just jump up.
Jump out there? Wow.
So we'll see. And we hear, a lot of people are asking they want to create like a kaiju defense mod
the
for
wall.
the game.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
So,
That'd be amazing.
I don't know, we're toying around with a bunch of different ideas. What something would be cool was if we add, you have the superheroes or whatever, and you start adding the monsters and whatnot to the game, and you turn it into kind of a tower defense game, or they're invading the game, you got to put down stuff. And the old city builder games had a lot of cool disasters, right? And that's not something that's in the game right now, but it would be really cool. And that's why we really try to listen to the audience. And if they have cool ideas, we're definitely just scribbling them down. Soon you won't need designers. But somebody needs to make the stuff anyway.
It just got dark.
But that would be amazing, having like, a monster attack and you pick out your like freaking Jaegers or mechs to kind of defend the city, like design. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So we just need to license. They're making a sequel for Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
right?
2017, I think.
17,
Okay,
yeah. That
pretty
gives us
excited.
ample time to.
There, we work something together there.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
hey guys.
Maybe, exactly. That's the cool
I
part.
think Guillermo said he doesn't ever want to work on video games again, so you might have to just get his permission, hands-off permission.
Or just change it just enough so that you can't get sued.
Yeah.
But that would have been epic. Oh man, so right now we're looking at what the freeway stuff, right? What's going on here?
It's roundabout being finished right about now.
I remember that was like the pro tip when this game came out. People were just like roundabouts. Roundabouts are the
Yeah.
key to keeping traffic from going crazy.
Yeah, and you can only see from what the modders publish on Steam Workshop that the intersections are the most popular thing, and we have most of the intersections. That's the one category that has the most stuff in it.
Saying that the intersections are popular is quite the understatement.
I love intersections.
I love
Number one
intersections.
fan right here.
I like walking through them, driving through them, looking at them. It's the best.
No, but the thing, before the game was released, the first sign we had of this was that people on Reddit were really posting a lot of pictures of intersections and interchanges, and we were like, wow, they seem pretty obsessive about this. And now you can go to the Steam Workshop, like the first 3 pages are all just giant pictures of all these intersections and different things. Made by one guy. He's like a genius.
But what is the appeal? Is it just because how elaborate it is in terms of like?
It looked like the weirdest. Like a double donut is one thing, and it's an actual thing. Like, so people just go on Google Map and find the weirdest like intersection, and they just take it and just.
And they actually work in the game because the traffic AI is it's quite realistic, because that was almost the easiest way to do it. Just look at how real traffic actually behaves. So even the weirdest looking intersections usually work just like they should.
Oh wow, that is really impressive.
So it's one of those super nerdy things. Like people are like, it turns out I have a love for intersections, right?
Yeah.
So they're starting to get near that, but it's like, I don't know.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Let's say you get some cars in that, like, you know, that roundabout. Could you like remove the exit roads and just force them to kind of infinite loop, like drive them, like have them drive
Oh,
forever
man.
and
Yes.
ever,
Like
and
trapping a sim in a pool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, this is the thing with Sandbox game. You give people the tool, and their inner personality comes out.
Oh, wait, what are you trying to say about me?
Yeah.
You give them some kind of, like,
Dude,
you know-
I did not say it. It was all you, right? So if you want to
Yeah.
trap people in like on an infinite loop and just see them suffer away, you can absolutely do that.
And I do, I really do. Oh,
Isn't
that's
that like
really
the future of gaming right now is when a developer tells you, like, if you want to torture people in their cars, you can do that in our game.
Yeah.
It's
I feel
totally fine.
We've made it. We're here.
You've done
The
it.
future is here,
It's
boys.
here.
That's
It's totally
right.
here.
Oh, very cool.
I'm not exactly sure what type of town they're trying to make here. It seems more like it's just the roads right now.
And that's the thing, though. Different players have different play styles. So sometimes, like when I build my cities, I always try to tell a story, right? But sometimes people just draw, and I don't know if they're drawing right now, but just making something pretty. And if these then zoom out and do kind of a time lapse over the building of the city, it just looks beautiful, right? I think that you mentioned this during the development period, that the flow of traffic is very hypnotizing in the game.
Yeah.
You can just sit for like
Yeah,
not
I-
hours, but minutes at least, and just stare at the flow
yeah,
of traffic.
I love to just look at the traffic, see the tiny cars go. I think I'm a bit crazy, but I love it.
No, it's definitely, it can be pretty mesmerizing, especially if you did just like the most elaborate, like dead city, and you just sit there and press fast forward and
Yeah,
let it go.
yeah.
Exactly. And then what we saw there earlier was also a tunnel. That wasn't initially in the original game, but that was something that we always felt was lacking. So that was one of the first big free updates that we added, so you could do tunnels, and that kind of opened up a very entirely new looks for cities and stuff like that. So some people just start by drawing roads, and then they start adding different types of zoning to them, and see how the city takes form.
So what's this going on over here? Is this pipe like?
So
I
they're
don't-
adding pipes, so we get water, and,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
and they lead sewage to and fro from the citizens as they go about their dainty little lives.
Gotcha. All right,
Okay.
there we go.
I'm the worst at doing pipes, and now I know that's how you're supposed to do it. Just
Exactly.
the-
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Very cool. I'm learning too.
I
Yeah.
think that one of the things that I'm still waiting for the modding community to put this together, but I like somebody to take this game and turn it into like a god game,
Oh.
and then you can just really mess. You just build a beautiful city, and then you start like a giant ancient deity. You start like raining brimstone.
There we
and
go.
fire. Is that something we can do?
Need to teach those worshippers what's up in your
Yeah,
city.
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
want to do. Yeah.
I bet you that there is a mod for that.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man.
It's called making them drive in a circle forever.
Oh yeah,
mod.
that's
The
what
Swifter
that's-
mod.
yeah.
There we go. Supper.
Yeah,
Sacrifice enough, and maybe we'll give you a little escape.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
I really want that boat thing to happen now that you mentioned it.
unfortunately, it's not going to happen, right?
It's,
They
it's
fixed it.
fixed.
But one of the, that's the thing. It is a simulation, right? And I think it was PC Gamer that had an article series about that they built a giant city and it had one citizen.
Oh, yeah,
One guy
yeah.
moved in and he demolished everything else in the city, and there was one guy and he moved in, and then you could follow him, and he went to work every day and went back and forth, and then a woman moved in and they actually met, and they were the only two citizens in the entire city. I'm like,
Oh yeah, they built schools.
They
just
built one
for the,
school
yeah,
for their
one kid. Yeah.
and they followed him, and then after a while a hearse drove up to the house
Oh no.
and picked up the man and drove off.
Oh,
and then
man.
she would go to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Go to the cemetery.
That is the saddest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, give us a positive story.
No, but that's the thing. Like, the simulation is there, and there are stories born out of the weird stuff that happens. And of course, on the other end, if you build a big city that is not like Lonelyville, you have the weird stuff and the people are saying having very active lives. So and that's one of the things that drives us. We want to create just this crazy sandbox, throw in a bunch of tools, and see what kind of shenanigans people come up with. And that story was told because PC Gamer decided to experiment, right, and do different things. And we see a lot of players creating their own stories, and this is like, if it's one of the tenets for any Paradox game. We don't want to tell you a story. We just want you to tell a story in our game, and that's kind of how it works in Crusader Kings as well, where people just marry their sister and have a child, and they conquer Europe, and then
Yeah,
But just to be clear, 14 people made this.
Four-
How insane is that? That like a game this elaborate, this deep, 14 people.
So,
Wow.
This game was, of course, the third game we made with the Colossal Order Guide.
Right.
Guys, we made a game called Cities in Motion 1 and then Cities in Motion 2. And those games were mainly about mass transit.
Right.
The first feature on the back of the box was experience 100 years of public transportation. And I think it was Rock, Paper, Shotgun that wrote that. I don't know if that's a feature or a punishment. And for some, it was a feature, and for others, it was a punishment, right? So we built the tech. We had a good working relationship, and we've been waiting for an opening because we were huge City Builder fans, but there wasn't really an opening. And when the opening finally came, we said let's go for it and make a game. And the thing about making a game with 14 people is that you have to make a lot of concessions, right? And when it comes to art, you can go apeshit crazy. You can have like 100 artists create 100 million different buildings. But we said let's focus on the simulation, and if this is the bar for a good enough level when it comes to art, let's just put us slightly above. So nobody's really complaining about the art, but it could obviously be better. And we just very much focused on having really big cities, having a really cool simulation layer that worked, and of course then mods to make sure that the game really had a lot of legs. Because when we looked at the older City Builder games, they had amazing communities. SimCity 4, for instance, had a huge modding community. And when we saw that, we were like, if we're gonna make a game of this caliber, we have to go deep with mods, right? So we try to make an old school game for the modern gamer, because modern gamers mod a lot, and thanks to Steam Workshop, that works excellent.
Right, that sounds incredible. I was gonna ask if like, are there any mods for like segways? Like I always wanted to make like that fabled Segway city that like it never actually happened.
Fabled Segway
Yeah,
city.
you know, like the Amazon CEO was just like, yeah, when this thing comes out, like people will build like, you know, cities, will plan cities around these like segways, and you know what, like you just have mall cops kind of running those things, security guards. This hasn't happened, but I want to make that a reality.
I don't know about segways, but we definitely I saw a map on Reddit that was entirely carless.
Oh,
They had only pedestrian
Yeah,
walkways.
and because we are bringing in bikes in the expansion,
Oh.
I'm absolutely
Okay.
certain that we will have the segways,
Yes.
because the modders will just use the same logic and then
You just
there we
replace
go.
them, yeah.
There we go. I can make it happen now.
Yeah.
All right, that's really cool.
Your dream is coming true.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Torturing drivers, rewarding people on segways. That's your thing.
Might do the same. I have segways in a circular motion to stuck in segways
Never
forever.
mind.
This is
No one's safe. No one's safe from this guy. apparently.
this obsession with circles.
I don't know what it is. I have a problem, guys. I have a problem. Oh, this is really cool.
How functional was that only walkways like
It
city?
was. I mean, the thing was that it took a long while for people to get to their jobs, because people actually have to get to their jobs in the game, and then they come home from job, right? So, but it worked. There are absolutely stuff you can do with the walkways and pathways, and what we're seeing right now is actually a bus line, right?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Exactly. So you can draw out your bus lines, and people spend
Yeah,
an unhealthy amount of time
the
on that.
system is really flexible. Like the citizens try to find different ways to get to the destination, but if they find out that there is like a bike pathway and they own a bike, if that's the shortest way, they will take that.
Oh.
If there is a bus line, they might even continue from the bike then to the bus, or combine like going with a car and then taking the metro or something like this.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So they'll optimize like using multiple like
Yeah.
transportation methods. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Wow.
That's
That is really
I feel like I've known about this game for so long, and you guys are just blowing my mind with all this extra stuff I had no idea existed in the game.
And that's the thing. Like when there's a pretty big sandbox, you have to go dig deep to find all the weird stuff, right?
Yeah.
Are we adding more achievements to the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. We got a lot of achievement hunters as well, right?
Are there any particularly strange achievements that you can think of that like might stand out? Like anything kind of like
Segway murderer, you know. that kind of-
No! Leave them for me! But I just love achievements because they kind of like push you in that direction, go try something different out in the game, and this is like a great opportunity to kind of do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have all of these because the design was that we want to reward the bad players. You're kind of the evil ones. So the ones who want to torture the Segway goers. So there's a bunch of achievements just for those guys who want to play it, so that the city is horrible.
For the sadists.
Just accept it. Just accept the evil side.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really
and
cool.
it's also that we have these unique buildings that once you unlock one, they are kind of in-game achievements. So you have this like task, and once you unlock it, you can use it in later games. So you don't have to put it in the city that you are playing. It will be unlocked in the later cities too.
Oh, okay.
And this is also that we have one tech tree of the unique buildings just for the evil players. So that kind of, if you want to have all of the unique buildings, you have to try out being evil. And that's something that many people really enjoy. That they usually they first start with by being a really good mayor, like doing all the things that the citizens are asking for. But once they get to,
Wow, that's the way it always is. You start off good and you get bored with being a good
Yeah.
guy, and then it's just time to like, screw it, let loose and just
Go in a circle until you die.
Circle until you die.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, wow, this was really awesome. The expansion seems like I have like so much promise. Right?
I know. I'm
Yeah.
ready to dive right back in. Thank you guys so much for coming here. And
Thank
we've got way more content because PAX is not even close to being over, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and keep your eyes glued to that screen. Like right there.